Well, that was Christmas. I hope you enjoyed it. We did in the end, despite everything. Christmas, after all, is always Christmas. But now, here I am. It's Bishop Peter Fox coming to you from St Edward's Castle, Donington. Well, from our front room, actually. I hope you had a nice Christmas, after despite everything. Now, all the Christmas decorations are getting put away again, and Christmas is back in its box for another year, and we face a brand new year, 2021. I wonder what it'll hold for us. So there's only really one last story to tell in our Christmas saga, and it's the strangest story of the lot. It's the story of the wise men who came from the east, came to adore a newborn baby because of a star that they'd seen. It's a very peculiar story. The funny thing about it is, it's one of those stories everybody thinks they know. So much so, often you see nativity scenes these days, and more often than not, you'll get one token shepherd, but you'll still get all three wise men standing there. They're all wearing their crowns, they've all got names. But the truth of the matter is, when you hear that story, what you actually hear is mainly legend now. The original story was very, very simple. Wise men came bringing gifts to the child Jesus. Truth is, we don't know where they came from. There's an awful lot of east. We don't really know who they were. We really don't know how many there were. We always think of it as being three because there were three gifts, but we don't know. In fact, we know next to nothing about these wise men, which one of the things that kind of inclines me to think it must be true. It's such a strange story. You can't think of any other reason why it would be included, these enigmatic strangers from the east. Because if you were to talk to most men, they'd say that the Star of Bethlehem was a miracle, whereas most women would say finding three wise men in one place would be a miracle. I mean, if the wise men had been wise women, they'd have brought different gifts for a start, wouldn't they? They'd have brought talcum powder and baby lotion and nappies, something practical a little boy can use, even a teddy bear perhaps, not this gold frankincense and myrrh. Yeah. The funny thing is, you can't help wondering whether that isn't the origin of the tradition that when you can't think what else to give somebody, you give them money and something that smells nice. Anyway, these wise men. The fact of the matter is, even that isn't quite right. I mean, we translate the word magoi, which is what they're actually called in the original Greek, we translate that as wise men. It's only because really we're trying to avoid a much more embarrassing translation. This word leads to magi. We talk about the coming of the magi. It's the same root as magician. It'd be a really brave translator who translated the story to say three magicians came from the east, but magicians is what they were. If they're really being brave, they might translate it as astrologers. That's not much better, really, is it? The fact of the matter is, these magi, they were a bit of an embarrassment. I mean, they're a bit of an embarrassment for Christians, because they certainly weren't Christians. For a start, Christians hadn't been invented yet, but quite apart from that, I mean, most Christians say they don't believe in astrology. I mean, astrology, horoscopes, looking at the stars for meaning and all that, it's not a sort of typical Christian activity these days, is it? And they weren't Jewish, these wise men. I mean, why were they coming to pay homage to a Jewish Messiah? It's all very mysterious, very strange. Maybe that's the whole point, really. The fact is, these wise men, they were outsiders. They were outsiders as far as our Christian tradition is concerned. They're outsiders as far as Jewish history and the Jewish people are concerned. As far as scientists are concerned, as astrologers, they were well outside the pale. So outsiders in every direction, and perhaps that is the point. We don't know what their religion was. We don't know what their ethnic background was. They were just complete outsiders. But they knew who Jesus was, and they came and showed him honor and worship. People from outside, people who were not like us, whoever us might be. And that, I think, is a lesson for us Christians. The lesson is that if God is willing to talk to these complete outsiders, if God is willing to speak a language they will understand, even if it means using the stars, if God is willing to speak to them, who are we to shut them out? God was willing to share his Son with these complete outsiders, despite the difference of culture, the difference of language, the fact that they called their God by another name. So if God is willing to share Jesus with them, maybe we should be willing to do the same. Well, anyway, it's been good this last 3 months. I've enjoyed it. It's been fun. Thank you very much for coming along. And we're going to take a bit of a break now, and we'll go our separate ways for the time being. But I've enjoyed these thoughts for the day, and you'll notice there was more than one thought. And you know me, I'm like a bad penny. I'll be back. God bless and Happy New Year.